Hey there, everybody. My name is Joyce Omondiwa-Higa, and this is Full Circle with Joyce. Karibuni tena to the show. Certainly hope that you're enjoying our programming this morning. And if you missed out on the first hour, please do make sure you join me bright and early tomorrow at 8 a.m. for 2 hours of really great content that we trust is transformative in your lives. In the second hour, though, of course, we bring you Dennis's weight loss journey. We're going to be catching up with him in just a little bit, figure out how his last week has been. Last week, he's just shy of going under 160 kilos. Last week he reached 160.5, but he actually hit 21 kilos in terms of total weight loss so far, and we're very excited to see what his progress will be today. So look out for that coming up next. You can also begin sending him your feedback as well to 22999. And before we move to that interview, we're going to be talking about teenage pregnancy. That again has been on the rise in this season with COVID-19, and we just kind of want to talk about some of the factors behind that, and I invite you to send your feedback as well for that discussion. But before we do all that, let's take a look at our quote for the day. This one is by Hussein Nisham, and it says, "Treat people the way you want to be treated. Talk to people the way you want to be talked to. Respect is earned. Respect is earned and not given." I'll read that again. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Talk to people the way you want to be talked to. Respect is earned. Respect is earned and not given. Once again, that quote there is by Hussein Nisha. And you know what? Of course, there's just that principle of do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Let's learn to not be so selfish with life. You know, sometimes we're really self-centered, and maybe self-control, as we were talking about today, self-discipline is one of those fruits of the spirit that we need to be able to help us actually live our lives in a way that is respectable and honorable even before other people. But for now, let's jump into our topic here on teenage pregnancy. Now, of course, just last week, the country was shocked to receive some disturbing statistics on teenage pregnancy here in Kenya. A survey by the Kenya Health Information System shows that about almost 4,000 girls aged 19 years and below were actually reported as pregnant in Machakos County alone between January and May, which means that 27 girls conceived each and every day. The numbers in other counties were equally bad as well. Our guest today has actually written a book on sex and teenagers. His name is Paul Njoroge Wangari. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you.
Right. What was your reaction when you heard those statistics? I mean, that was just in one county alone. We still have, another 46 to consider. You can only imagine what the numbers in the country look like now.
The issue on teenage pregnancies is dire, and we might agree or differ with the statistics. But the truth is, teenage pregnancies is rife in our society. And this is the reason why we need to sit down and think about this topic, and interrogate it boldly to be able to come up with tangible solution to this menace. Yes.
And it almost sounds, though, that teenage pregnancy was an issue even before COVID. And COVID, in many ways, has just kind of escalated the issue because now, of course, children are at home. What is the main issue here? What would you point to as sort of the main fault line as far as why teenage pregnancy is so prevalent here in Kenya?
I want to take you back because we normally say that history repeats itself.
Right.
But the problem is that we forget so easily. 2018, according to one of the statistics that were done, it showed that we had 378,400 girls who became pregnant between June 2016 and July 2017.
Wow.
In these figures, they say that 28,932 were actually below between age of 10 to 14 years.
No.
Yes.
28,000 10 to 14-year-olds were pregnant?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It is. And now that's what I'm saying,
10 years old.
Absolutely. So
wow.
this is not something
I'm
new.
in shock.
This is not new, all right? But then the question you need to ask ourselves, why is it happening?
Right.
All right? Because it has been there. It has been there in the public domain.
So why is it happening?
No, that's a very good question. Why is it happening? I think we need first to look at the factors that contribute to this, the current trends, all right? Because this is not something that has just come from the moon. It is something that has been there, and it has been happening. So we ask ourselves then, why is it happening? All right? You look at, for example, the media, all right? Then the kind of music that it's being played, the kind of movies that are being our kids are watching, you know, and no one is there to actually supervise what they are watching.
Right.
All right. And we look at the technology advancement. This is an issue that I think in Africa we are not ready for this. All right. In the US, maybe in the Western countries, kids are exposed to social media and their guidelines. But now when it came to Kenya, it was a boom. And no one was actually ready. Right now, Joyce, every kid in this country, majority of them in high school, they have phones. Even in primary schools, they have phones. You know, what is the essence of these phones?
Yeah.
Is there someone who is actually sitting down with these kids and telling them that this is how you're supposed to use this gadget? Right now, it's like a fashion. Every parent wants to buy their kids a smartphone. But when the parent is not there, what are these kids doing with these phones? All right.
Wow.
So that's something we also need to check.
Sure.
We also look at even the peer pressure in the society, that everyone wants to look like someone, you know. And now these girls, even boys, you know, they want to be fashionable, and therefore, because they saw someone on the TV, you know, looking a certain way, they also want to look the same. So these are factors that are contributing to this issue, and which we have to deal with.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm still very shocked, really, about that statistic of 10 to 14-year-olds.
Yes.
28,000 of them. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Exactly.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Those are, it's a child, having a child.
Yes.
It just doesn't make sense at all.
Yes.
But I'm curious, though, because there's a very real concern here. Are these, you know, the ones who are making them pregnant, is it their fellow boys? Or are we talking about criminal issues now here where it's actually adults taking advantage of young children?
And now I was thinking about it, and look at what you're going through right now, the COVID-19.
Yeah.
We have the curfew, you know, there is a restriction of movement. These kids are not moving that far, because you don't imagine that a kid can move very far, and they know that by a certain time they're supposed to be home.
That's right.
And so this is where now we have a problem, and we need to ask ourselves, who is responsible for this? All right, and this, Joyce, is a matter of fact, it's very sad that incest is a contributing factor. Wow. Incest. Brothers are having sex with their sisters. You know, uncles and relatives, they're taking advantage. Even some parents, fathers, are doing this to their kids. You know, I was shocked. You know, someone was saying that, you know, she was I'm a counselor, so she was counseling another kid, and the kid was saying that the brother was saying that, you know, he was saying to the sister that you are my only girlfriend. I don't have anyone else. All right. So this kid believes that the brother really loves her. And therefore, this is what now is happening to this. But we also cannot forget, Joyce, also, that also drugs are a contributing factor to this. All right? Our kids are abusing drugs. Something which is there, it was there before. And even now, we don't say because COVID has come that drugs are not there. They are there. And right now, these kids are even vulnerable because they are now easy targets to these drug peddlers. There was a case reported the other day that there were some young kids, teenagers, who are caught in a room, you know, partying. You know, and because parents are not there, maybe some of them, they are working, and maybe when they sneak out of the house, no one will even question, you know. And so they go and meet somewhere, and they're having this party, they're using these drugs, and this is actually one of the things that also is contributing to this problem.
Well, I feel like I am the one who needs a break. Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yes.
Parenting, it's not just about having a kid. Like, you need to be there. You need to be teaching the child. You need to be a steward over the child.
Yes.
Oh my Lord. I hope you guys know what your kids are doing. It's just a scary world that we live in. And these are just very terrible statistics. You know, a child is not an accessory. It's not a toy.
I agree.
And the number of lives of young girls that are now, you know, their potential really in many ways is inhibited because now you have a new responsibility when you've not even figured out your own life.
Exactly.
It's a really sad state of affairs. And the repercussions are not just that, oh, you have a baby. There's economic repercussions,
There's so
social, spiritual, psychological.
Exactly.
I mean, this is a whole spectrum of issues that we're talking about.
And also, Joyce, you look at the what we call the cycle of poverty. because now this kid is dependent.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
This is a kid who is depending on the parents.
Right.
And now they have a kid.
Yeah.
What makes of this kid? All right.
Yeah.
This kid will definitely drop out of school.
Sure.
They'll start hustling.
Yeah.
All right. They'll start looking for a job. And what do you think? Where do you see this kid 10, 20 years from now? They shall be worse than their parents. If their parents are poor, this particular child shall be poorer than the parents. So you can now see the poverty cycle repeating itself.
Wow. Oh my. Guys, let's take a break. I need the break. Let's take a break. I can see your SMS is already coming in. I'm going to be sharing them as well. 22999 is the SMS line, and let's begin talking about some of the solutions towards this and what we can do, you know, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, to really be able to put a curb to this situation. 22999 is the SMS line. We'll see you shortly. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. Man, this conversation is very disturbing. I'm very uncomfortable. I just have to admit it. I mean, I'm just thinking a 10-year-old pregnant. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, what is happening in our society today. We're talking about teenage pregnancy, and my guest is Paul Njoroge Wangare, who's an author and a speaker, and he's actually written a book on sex and teenagers. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, and just helping us like wade through these statistics. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback though. 22999 is the SMS line. Keep sending that in. But actually, even as we continue, I have a caller on the line. Her name is Jane Mhambi, and she's actually now a mother of 2, but she got pregnant at the age of 17. And I just kind of want to hear her story and more so her take on this issue of teenage pregnancy. Hello, Jane. How are you?
Hi, good.
Good. Thank you for calling in and for being a part of the show today.
Thank you so much.
So very quickly, maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself. You got pregnant at the age of 17.
Yeah, actually 16.
16.
I got pregnant at 16 years. I was in, just began my Form 3.
Mm-hmm.
And trust you me, it was very hectic. Then to make it worse, my dad is a reverend.
Wow.
So the shame, I mean, going through the shame from the community, the chat, your age mates, it reached a point where most of my classmates, they don't need to deal with me simply because I'm employed. They are in Yuka.
Right.
So I never had any friends at all.
Yeah.
And my dad also being a pastor, I mean, there's some stereotypes just around it.
Right.
And then even after I gave birth, so many people, in fact, I remember one of my neighbors used to tell me that simply because I had gotten a baby, I shouldn't continue with studies.
Wow.
In fact, my parents had ensured that I go back to school. Mm-hmm. So the guy told me, what do you continue to, why do you want to study? What when you make up, but you are they should not continue with their studies and all that. So it was really tough for me growing up. But again, there's a victory at the end of it all.
Yeah.
The victory is that life can still continue. Being pregnant is not the end of life.
Right.
For me, I went back to day school. I continued my studies in Form 3. I went back to Form 3, Form 4, got a good grade, went to university.
Okay.
Yes. So I really thank God for that opportunity that it was, but also my parents were very supportive.
Nonetheless, though, the truth is not many will have that opportunity. Not many will have supportive parents and people who are able to take them back to school. You know, a child, that is an economic cost, you know, to put it that way. There's responsibilities associated with it. And so as you hear these statistics that we've been talking about today, I mean, we're talking about 10-year-olds, 10 to 14 years old. The statistic there was that there were 28,000 of them.
Wow.
Listening to that, what's your take on that? And also the fact that we're within COVID and there's restrictions on movement. So a lot of these pregnancies might actually be from people within the child's home, people that they know. And maybe you can share with us, for you, you know, when you got pregnant, was it maybe a schoolmate? Was it someone that you knew in a familiar way? Because it's very worrying that in a season like COVID, when a child is supposed to be safe at home, they're winding up pregnant.
Sure. What I say, it's the people around us most of the time. For me, it was not somebody who I didn't know. It was, a young boy, almost my age, but was a bit older than I am. So with this, during this period, one of the things that I've always emphasized that I think a case to learn from it is that let the men be taught to be our keeper. Let them know that we are part of their success in future. They should safeguard us in terms of purity, ensuring that we maintain our purity. And then I'm not so much against women empowerment, but again, the man needs to know to be empowered on how to deal with the empowered woman.
Right.
As we're being taught about all these things, the boy child needs to be put in place. They also need to be licensed. You should not leave that boy aside.
Okay.
Let them know that they are part of our security. They are first part of our security.
Right.
And in our bringing, they play a very big role
Absolutely.
in us growing up to be responsible girls.
Absolutely. And now that you're a mom of two, I mean, and I don't know if you have sons or daughters, but you know, when they now, okay, now, you know, when I was growing up, we talk about teenage pregnancy, we were thinking of like 16, 17. Now we're talking about 10-year-olds, you know, and as your kids grow up, then there's something about the parents, though, really being the ones to really shelter their kids, steward their kids, know what's happening in their kids' lives. As one person who's already been a teen mom, do you now look at your kids very differently as far as when they begin to mature and become adolescents and how they relate with persons of the opposite sex?
Yeah, sure. That's the girl that I got a daughter. She's 12 years now, almost turning 13. And one of the things that I really learned and I really desired was to be so much open with her. I want to ensure that I will be the first person to teach her about sexuality.
Right.
Not anybody else outside there. I should be the first teacher in her life in matters of sexuality.
Yeah.
My second boy is 3 years old. So I look at him and I say, I'm raising somebody's husband.
Right.
How would I want this boy to grow up? How would I want him to be in future? How would I want him to treat the sister?
Right.
I would want him to treat the sister with respect. So I will do it, with a lot of carefulness in me, knowing that whoever I'm raising a person who will want to be very much responsible in future.
Absolutely.
And then for the sister and a brother, as much as the brother is young, I still need, in fact, even now, I always need to respect the sister. When you feel this wrong, I tell you, you're feeling sorry, tell her sorry and all that.
Okay.
You need to get it in that perspective and let them know that as they grow up, they are first people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, Jane, thank you very much for your feedback there. Please do keep watching the show and sending in your comments. I do appreciate you. And good job with your kids, too.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
God bless. Now, Paul, she's brought up an interesting point there about, you know, the boy child. And the truth about pregnancy is it's because the men don't carry it. So, you know, in many ways, the guy can kind of get away with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Because he's not carrying the shame of it. He's not the one having to stop his classes. Sometimes, you know, him and his family may just decide, by the way, you don't know those people. Nothing ever happened between you and them. And so he kind of carries on with life as the girl really bears the consequences or the majority of the consequences. How do we go about addressing this issue? Because I like what she's saying. She's raising her son to be a good man, a good husband to someone one day. And it's not just about focusing on the girls and saying, don't talk to boys. It's also about talking to the boys and saying, treat people with respect and understand that you could become someone's father and you better be responsible for it.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, there's an article I read somewhere and they were saying that being a man, beards does not make you a man.
That's right.
And having a penis does not make you a man as either, all right? So what does that mean, Joyce? That being a man is being responsible. And this is what our boys need to be taught. That being a man is respecting a woman, all right? Seeing her as your sister, as your mother. Just like the way you cannot want something bad happening to your sister and your brother and your mother. The same way that any other lady out there, you should not actually at any point compromise or destroy their destiny because you want to have a satisfaction, you know, which will not even give you anything. All right. So I think that's something that we also need to teach our boys. That, you know, being a man, what is being a man? Because this is what is lacking. And as you can know, if you can see that last year we had an issue with a boy child, And you are saying that, you know, the boy child has been left out. The boy child does not have anyone to mentor him. The boy child has been left to the world, you know, and that's why we have so many issues with our boy child. So this is something that is happening, yes, because of the wrong growing up of our boys, because there is no one who is there to actually speak to our boys and tell them how are you supposed to respect yourself, and how are you supposed to handle yourself, and when your body reacts, what are you supposed